Hi, welcome to Ancient Astrology with Sam and Verity.
Hi, I'm Sam Bakewell.
And I'm Verity Hebbs. And today's episode 23, and we will be discussing Jupiter in Cancer.
Yep. Yep. So Jupiter will ingress into the sign of Cancer at 5:03 a.m. That's Australian Western Standard Time on the 10th of June 2025. And Jupiter spends about 12 months in a sign, and the cycle is just under 12 years. The cycle is 11.8 years to be precise. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, and it's exalted in Cancer. So we like Jupiter being in Cancer.
Yes.
It's got some dignity, so it can behave. The sign and the planet are working in harmony with each other. It's known as the Greater Benefic also, and the planet is known as Zeus as well with Greek mythology. So it's got a lot going for it. Jupiter is our good fortune, good luck planet.
Yes.
You know, it's there to help us. It's about the law, upholding the law, and our justice system, and it's about truth and freedom, religion or spiritual concepts, all cultures, education, and knowledge and wisdom.
A lot of things that make our life nice.
Yeah, exactly.
That we enjoy. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, if you have somebody, well, depends on, doesn't matter what sign it's in. If it's Jupiter in the first house, you know, that person is interested in, you know, knowledge, wants to learn, whether it's through travel or whether they travel and they just like learning new topics, you know, new courses. They want the information. And the cardinal signs, like Cancer's a cardinal sign. So, you know, they kind of want things now, they will make it happen. It's not a cardinal masculine sign, but it's because the masculine signs are much more assertive. It's still cardinal, so it's still assertive and has got that leadership quality. So I find that people that have Jupiter in Cancer in their natal chart, me being one of them, wherever it lands is where the area that they like to lead. So mine's in my 5th house. So I like to lead with social things, things that are fun, you know, organise a lot of those sort of things. They can also be event coordinators. I'm not one of those, but I have.
You would be good at that, though.
Yeah, I've organised a lot of people's events.
And catering.
Catering,
yes,
exactly. All that Cancerian food kind of thing. And I've organised a lot of family events as well.
Yeah, and you seem to just, take it in your stride. It doesn't really seem to, I don't know, internally, but it doesn't seem to stress you out, and it all works out, and it's all beautiful. You don't burn the chicken, or you know, everyone shows up and has a great time. And
so it's really quite easy. It's also my 5th house, so you know, my children have been really easy to rear. You know, I've had no problems really with my kids when they were young. Now they're all adults having their own kids. So, you know, life was pretty easy, that area of life, right?
Yeah, that's a nice place to have Jupiter.
Yeah, so it depends on where it's placed. Like if you had Jupiter in Cancer and it was in the, actually we can go through the whole houses.
Good idea.
Yeah. So, you know, like if it was in your 1st house, you know, they have a strong desire to travel and to learn, and they tend to put on weight easily. You know, that's the thing with Jupiter in Cancer.
Yeah. And would they seek freedom?
Yes. Freedom would be very important to them. Even for me, that I'm ruled by Jupiter in Cancer, you know, so freedom is really important to me, and I give that freedom to others as well.
Yes, because I find with Cancer that's an interesting kind of mix, because Cancer can be, you know, about, I guess, making connections with others and being with family, and not as, you know, dependent on relationships as some other signs, but it can be that way. And like with children, being very connected to their children or their family.
Definitely.
Or in their home. But then Jupiter can be about freedom. But I guess even in those relationships, you can still find a way to have your freedom.
Exactly.
So
enjoy your freedom, which I must say that I did that quite a lot through raising my children. You know, when I was watching them play sport, or when they were training, I could sit in the car, or I can go for a walk, or, so I found that those times were great for what I wanted to do if I was
Yes.
studying a
Or
lot of time.
burdensome, or like an obligation that was hard.
No.
You were able to find some way to still
Exactly.
enjoy it.
Yeah. It was great because I'm a big believer of living in the moment.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome.
So second house, Jupiter in Cancer, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that would
Lots
be
and lots of
amazing.
money.
Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
And because it's cardinal, would it mean it comes and goes, or would it just be it comes and comes and
Yes.
yeah, but Cancer can be
It comes and
something.
comes and comes, and
Cancer seems to have something that's usually good with money as well.
yeah,
Cancer,
yeah.
Capricorn. I don't know if it's because they're on that axis.
Yeah,
but
well, Jupiter
yeah.
wants to be generous, right? So if it's in a sign that's working well with it, it's also sharing its wealth. It's a little bit tricky with the second house because it depends on whether the Lord of the first is making an aspect or can see the Jupiter in Cancer, whether that person would be generous. But it's still, a great placement for accumulating wealth and spending wealth as well, because, Cancer, as you said, is it coming or is it going?
Yeah, yeah.
It's doing both,
Yeah.
by being in that finance house. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, to make lots of money and to spend lots of money and
have that freedom.
Yeah.
To do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
The third house, Jupiter in Cancer, it sits quite nicely in that house. I mean, it's a short journey house. It's an education, but it's lower education, like short courses and things like that. It is also about your faith because the moon rejoices there. So it's not a bad house for Jupiter to be in. It is cadence, so it's not getting the energy that it would if it was in an angular or succeedant house, but it's still great for that sibling, for the neighbors, you have good neighbors.
Yeah, which can be a great blessing.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll find that, when it's in some sort of travel house, there are people that can get upgraded, or they like first class sort of tickets, first class kind of accommodation.
Yep. And I find a lot of people who do a lot of short trips, they have a lot of, maybe their neighbors help them, like their neighbors watch their pets for them, or you know what I mean? They have those kinds of things that make their life a little bit easier to just get up and go.
Yeah, exactly. Easy connections, good connections. Yeah. Fourth house, the classy home, somebody who likes, a really nice home with shiny things in it, and but it's still got that homely kind of appeal because it's still that Cancer underlining, flavor.
Yeah.
So
that would be a great
nice, good, great place, and a loving father, good father that can do everything. It can be the domestics, do the domestic side, cook a meal, so be wise, give you good advice, so
could it be like big families as well?
Yes, exactly. It is good big family. So you would expect that either the father has come from a big family or he wants a big family.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Fifth house, good children, which what I have, respectable fun, like movies, theatre, concerts and things like that. Spiritual group activities can be, part of that fifth house. Holidays, really nice, like 5-star holidays as well. Like they like, nice accommodation.
Like what you were saying, with the upgrades and or maybe if you go to a restaurant, do you find you might get like a nice seat, like the waiter will take you somewhere and it's good there, or you get a nice sort of service when you're there and everything.
It's quite interesting because I do get a lot of benefits through people, through that kind of thing, through friends who have worked for big companies, who have red carpet kind of things that they give to their employees, and or dinners and things like that, and so I've had so much of that in my life, that I haven't had to pay for anything for a lot of those sort of concerts. I've seen Pink, Robbie Williams and Elton John.
That's
and
awesome.
I haven't had to pay for
And those
any
are
of those
really
tickets.
great
Yeah.
quality performers. Like if you go to them, you're gonna
I
see a
know,
great show.
I
Like,
know, and it's all been red carpet, champagne, you
that's
know.
amazing.
Yeah, so I've been very lucky in
Yeah.
that way. Yeah. So the sixth house, good employees. It can be protective of your health as well.
Yeah, which is
Protection
a
for the
good
health.
one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like if you have pets, you know, they're like, they should be pedigree pets, you'd imagine, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes, and probably maybe not many health issues with them, or they don't have allergies, or
Exactly.
you don't end up with dog hair all over you, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
nice
exactly.
benefits
The
from
Labradoodle that
yeah,
everybody likes
yes,
these
yeah.
days. Yeah.
Yeah. And that would actually be quite a nice one as well. Like maybe they're the type of people that are never sick off work because they've got good health and their job seems to work well for them. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
If they have their own business and they've got really very good staff, you know, staff that turn up to work and have a lot of knowledge. And,
Yeah, that would be great.
So the seventh house, wealthy, educated or religious partner, can be the overweight partner as well, or partner that carries weight or just loves food, you know. Comes from a large family, you know, or wants a large family.
And would they be quite like a generous, maybe, or very
Yes.
caring,
Yeah.
family person? That sounds lovely.
Yeah. The eighth house, I mean, the eighth house is a bit tricky because it's also the death house, but by derived house, it's the second house for the partner. So, you know, that's the partner's money. So the partner's making really good sum of money.
Yeah.
You know, so high pay.
Yeah. Yep.
And long life, you know, when you
so
see
there's a benefit
Jupiter
of
in
that.
the
Right. That's nice.
Jupiter in the eighth. Ninth house, Jupiter represents the ninth house topics, you know, like education, religion,
long
travel, that kind of thing. So it also sits quite nicely in that house. And so, you know, they'll be curious about other faiths, you know. So even though I haven't got a Jupiter in the ninth house, I've found that I've always been very open-minded to a lot of other people's religions. And I've been fortunate enough to go to a lot of different type of rituals, you know, like pagan and Buddhism, you know, like different types of weddings that we've been to, different cultures, you know, so that's been really interesting as well. So somebody with a ninth house Jupiter in Cancer, you know, that would probably happen a lot more to them, and they would be educated as well.
Yeah,
so that's a guaranteed education.
Yes, very true. Yeah.
10th house, Jupiter in Cancer, so that's fantastic, you know, that's great. Yeah, come from a lovely mother. And you know, mother that was knowledgeable and well-traveled, loves freedom, gives you freedom and trusts you. It's also the wealthy leader, wealthy boss. If you had a company, you know, that would be fantastic for your company as well. 11th house, well, it's in its joy, Jupiter is in its joy in the 11th house and being in Cancer, so that's just fantastic, you know, for the wealth of your business, wealth of any company that you work for.
Your mother's wealth.
Your mother's wealth, and generous friends.
Yes. Yeah, wow. Yeah, and you can have a lot of benefits from those things in life. And would it be sort of a lucky placement, like extra lucky?
Extra lucky. Yeah, because that shows the lotto winner.
Amazing.
And can win a big sum in lotto, not just, you know, your little wins. It can be the big jackpot. Yeah.
Very good.
So 12th house is protection for your serious health problems.
Right. So because it's Jupiter, would that mean you would maybe experience more health problems, but you would be protected, or would it mean that it would actually prevent them?
It could prevent it for quite some time, and then later on in life you'll have the Jupiter kind of issues like hip problems, thighs or liver, you know, but otherwise, you know, you might find that they have got good health for most of their life, but it will it's still Jupiter in your 12th house.
Mm.
And that is explaining, the type of health issues that you would have.
Yes. Yeah.
It would play out sometime for health. But then it's also going to be good for finding the right specialist for that type of health, so that's good.
And maybe like very caring nurses or things like that. If you are in the hospital, you might,
good staff,
caring
good hospital,
doctors.
5-star hospital.
Clean and
Yep. I kind of wonder whether it would help you with horse racing,
yes,
large animals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
whether it could
especially
help
that
you with
Cancer,
that.
I kind of see that as some
Yeah.
sort of caring relationship. So
Yeah.
you would care for an animal and maybe have that connection with that animal. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
So, and whether it would be, just good luck and good fortune from those large animals.
Yes. And I think 12th house as well, that also kind of hit that sort of spirituality side in a different way. Do you find?
I think it would be I mean, you still do have Jupiter is about spiritual things, so it could be something more hidden, something that's underground, or something that they don't tell a lot of people about. Probably play that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How is it going to affect the world, Jupiter in Cancer?
Well,
So that's great for our wealth.
Yeah,
the wealth of the
nice.
world.
A good year. That would be great because
I haven't spoken much about the Jupiter Saturn grade conjunction, that helps with which explains to an astrologer about the global economy. So I won't mention it too much here, but it is great for the wealth of the world.
That's good. It's good news.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to have Saturn in Aries, and Jupiter will be in Cancer. So there's something really good happening there.
That's awesome. That's good to know. And could it maybe help with, if there's Saturn in Aries, maybe people are making quick decisions, maybe during that time, that could be to do with laws or policies or something. Maybe during that time, Jupiter and Cancer will help out a little bit because it's to do with the laws and things like that. Well, maybe it'll be good luck. It'll work out anyway somehow.
Because at least the two planets can see each other. So even though it's a square, it's still helpful. Because they can see each other. Planets don't perform very well when they can't see each other. So that should be okay for global finances. So however that works out,
maybe I don't know, homes or something. I don't know if that's only if it's to do with the 4th house, but I'm just thinking because Cancer is kind of
it's Jupiter is quite generous, so there might be more generosity through our leaders to do with families.
Exactly, like find their roots, or if they
more
have
family
mothers,
family laws. Jupiter's about law, and so it's also the music industry. So Jupiter in Gemini at the moment, right? So Jupiter's about travel. So the travel industry is still suffering, when it's in Gemini. Excuse me, people, there's problems with the planes, there's problems with the airport. They're not maintaining their equipment properly, so I'm not saying that's the case overall with every single airline, but it's generally, this is how you would expect it to be manifesting as an astrologer. But when Jupiter's in Cancer, right, everything's getting maintained. They've got the money to do things. They're offering really good deals. So all your equipment's working, and we travel now quite a lot. Going back and forth to Melbourne to see our daughter, and there's always lots of problems, technical problems going on. You can see things are just falling apart. They're not really maintaining things properly. They're not. They might be just maintaining it, but they're not actually fixing the problem, you
Yeah.
know, where Jupiter in Cancer is going to be very different. You know, people are going to want to travel 5-star, and these industries are going to want that as well. So you might see great deals with the music industry as well, because Jupiter rules music,
Maybe
religion,
new
you know,
music will come
religion.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there should be some really good things happening for the world during while Jupiter's in Cancer.
That'll be great. Yeah, I wish it would stay in some planets for longer.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Jupiter in Cancer. Anything else that we want to discuss about it? Jupiter in Cancer.
Jupiter in Cancer. Oh, I was going to ask you a question. Do you think that we will see an increase in pregnancies during Jupiter in Cancer?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that actually. I thought, oh, big families, you know, people are wanting to, you know, have big families. So you might see a lot of families of 3, you know, 3 children, or more. Yeah, because these days 3 is quite a lot, isn't it? You know, most people have 2 children. So you could see
when I was a child, I think most families were just 3. So that was kind of the way I thought it was, but now it's not so much like that.
But you're right. It would be big families.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I wonder if that could happen. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And so the other thing we probably could address is when Jupiter's retrograde. So how does that play out? Because retrogradation is a debility. So it's taking something away, or it's making it more of. So it can be someone that's overly generous, you know, and, you know, I know somebody who is very overly generous, and it can be hard to match that kind of generosity when somebody is overly generous, you know, and they're just piling you with gifts and gifts and gifts and gifts, you know, giving you things, and, you know, sitting at the table, and, you know, they are giving you all their food as well. It's a bit like, oh, you know, it's all right, I've got my own food here.
Yeah, that does sound like a bit of a Jupiter in Cancer retrograde kind of example.
Yeah. The other way it can play out is it can take some of that generosity away, and take some of that freedom away as well. So it depends on which way it goes, you know. It depends on the ascendant and the lords of the ascendant, but it also depends on, you know, if it's ruling that person and it's retrograde, it would be taking some of that essence away from it.
It's interesting.
So they might not be as have as much freedom as somebody with a direct Jupiter in Cancer.
Yeah, so maybe that would mean, for example, if it was in the 5th house, they would find that all their children are playing sports at the same time, and they have to figure that out. And maybe they get some help, but maybe sometimes they don't, and it's a bit tricky. And so it's not as easy, or as it doesn't feel as.
That's very true.
Yeah,
a good way to explain it.
Got a bit of a burden attached to it, or it's not as fun. You've got to figure it out and ask people for help and drop them off, and not be there to watch everyone play. And that's just one example. But
well, I mean, it's a good example. But even if you had Jupiter in Cancer retrograde in the 2nd house, you know, somebody who might not make the type of money that you think they're going to make because they've got Jupiter in there, or they just keep it to themselves, you know. They're not going to share it with people. They're not going to be generous, or they're trying to hang on to it. So it's
they might not feel like they have a lot of money, even if they actually are okay. But
it's still Jupiter in Cancer, so that's still pretty good. Okay, well, hope you like this episode.
Yes, thank you so much.
On Jupiter in Cancer, coming up soon. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye for now.